Picture this. It's 2 a.m., you're lying in bed, and suddenly your brain won't stop replaying that text you sent hours ago or every single awkward thing you said in the last week. Sound familiar? Yep, we've all been there, caught in a loop of what ifs and overanalysis. Today, we're diving into something that literally almost all of us deal with: overthinking. That constant swirl of thoughts that affects your mood, your energy, and sometimes even your decisions. It can make a simple choice feel like solving a Rubik's Cube in the dark. For me, it hits hardest when I'm making big decisions, or even tiny ones, like what to wear for a Zoom call. I'll spend hours thinking, second-guessing myself, and honestly, by the end, I feel mentally exhausted before I even start. And I know I'm not alone. Overthinking can feel like carrying a backpack full of bricks everywhere you go. So if you've ever felt trapped in your own thoughts, or just want some tips to finally give your brain a little break, make sure you stick around and watch the whole video. Trust me, by the end, you'll have some practical ways to stop overthinking before it stops you. Okay, so what exactly is overthinking? Simply put, it's when your brain keeps spinning the same thoughts over and over, often about things that have already happened or might happen. It's like having a little TV in your head stuck on repeat, and you can't change the channel. Now, thinking and planning are totally normal. They help us solve problems and make decisions, but overthinking? That's when it stops being helpful. Instead of getting clarity, it just makes you stressed, anxious, or stuck. For example, normal thinking is planning your outfit for a date. Overthinking is wondering if they'll notice the tiny stain on your shirt, replaying the conversation in your head 100 times, and still lying awake at 2 a.m. stressing about it. Some people are just more prone to overthinking: perfectionists, worriers, or anyone who really values control. Certain situations also trigger it: big life decisions, social interactions, or even scrolling through social media and comparing yourself to everyone else. Basically, anything that sparks doubt or what if thinking can make your brain go into overdrive. So now that we know what overthinking actually is and why it happens, let's look at the signs that you might be overthinking, because recognizing it is the first step to taking back control of your mind. Okay, so how do you know if you're overthinking? Some classic signs include indecision, can't choose what to wear, what to eat, or even what show to binge next. Replaying past events, like that one awkward conversation from 3 weeks ago, yep, it's on loop in your brain. Anxiety before decisions. Even tiny choices feel like life or death situations. Should I text back now? Wait 5 minutes? What if I sound clingy? And it's not just in your head. Overthinking can take a real toll on your body too. You might feel fatigue. Your brain is basically doing cardio at 2 a.m. Stress, a constant knot in your stomach or tension in your shoulders. Brain fog, can't focus, can't remember what you walked into the room for, classic. Here's a scenario. You send a text to your crush and immediately start imagining 17 different ways it could be interpreted. By the time they reply, you've mentally written a 10-page novel in response, overanalyzed it, and stressed yourself out, all before even reading their one-line reply. Yep, we've all been there. So now that we know the signs, you might be thinking, why do I do this? Next, we're diving into why overthinking actually happens, the brain science, the triggers, and the habits that keep us stuck in the loop. First, let's talk about what's going on in our heads. Overthinking often comes from things like fear of failure, perfectionism, or just wanting complete control over everything. Your brain is basically saying, if I think about it enough, I can prevent it from going wrong. Cute in theory, exhausting in reality. Then there's the social stuff. Social media makes it way worse. You see everyone's highlight reels and start comparing yourself. Add a little peer pressure, work or school stress, and boom, your mind won't stop running scenarios. Suddenly, a small mistake at work feels like a national crisis. And don't forget personal life triggers. Relationships, self-doubt, and those big life decisions, like moving cities, starting a new job, or even picking the right brunch spot, can send your thoughts into overdrive. Basically, any situation that challenges your comfort zone can get your brain spinning. So now that we know why overthinking happens, let's take a look at how it actually affects our lives, emotionally, socially, and even physically. Overthinking doesn't just live in your head. It can totally mess with your emotions. It often brings stress, guilt, and constant anxiety. You replay every little mistake, worry about what could go wrong, and suddenly even fun plans feel stressful. And it can spill over into your relationships too. You start overanalyzing conversations, wondering if a friend's text sounded cold, or if someone really meant what they said. This can strain friendships, romantic relationships, or even family interactions. Basically, your brain becomes a little detective that's way too invested. And let's talk about work or school. Overthinking often leads to procrastination, decision paralysis, or just feeling stuck. You spend so much time analyzing your options that you never actually take action. It's like running on a treadmill. You're moving, but not getting anywhere. So now that we see the real impact of overthinking, the big question is, how do we break the cycle? In the next section, we'll share some practical tips to get your brain to chill out and stop overthinking before it drains all your energy. One of the easiest ways to calm your overthinking brain is mindfulness. Even just a few minutes of focusing on your breath can make a huge difference. Try inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, and exhaling for 6, like telling your brain, "Hey, it's okay, chill." Another game changer is a brain dump. Grab a notebook or your phone and write down every single thought swirling in your head. Don't filter it, don't judge it, just let it out. Seeing your thoughts on paper magically makes them feel smaller and more manageable. Here's a pro tip. Give yourself a time limit for decisions. Even tiny things like, "I'll decide on this outfit in 5 minutes," can train your brain to stop spiraling. Boundaries equals sanity. And let's add a little flair. Try walking around while thinking, blasting a favorite playlist, or doing a mini self-care ritual, like lighting a candle or sipping your favorite tea. These small, cute hacks can reset your mind and give you a little mental refresh. Now that we've got some practical ways to pause the overthinking loop, let's dive into how overthinking shapes your decisions so you can really see the bigger picture and take control. Overthinking doesn't just make you feel stressed. It actually shapes the decisions you make or don't make. When your brain is spinning in circles, it's easy to get stuck, second-guess yourself, or avoid decisions altogether. One of the biggest effects is decision paralysis. You might spend hours analyzing options, weighing pros and cons, and imagining every possible outcome, and then end up doing nothing at all. The simple choice you could have made in 5 minutes now takes an entire day. Overthinking also affects even the tiniest decisions. What to wear, what to text, what to eat. Your brain makes these small things feel monumental. And the more you overanalyze, the more energy you drain, leaving less mental space for the big decisions that actually matter. To combat this, try setting boundaries around your decision-making. Limit yourself to a set amount of time for each decision. Trust your gut on smaller choices. Remember that perfection isn't the goal, progress is. The more you practice, the more your brain learns to step out of the overthinking spiral. So let's quickly recap. Overthinking is that endless loop of thoughts that can stress us out, affect our decisions, and drain our energy. But now you know the signs, the triggers, and most importantly, some practical ways to pause the spiral. From mindfulness and journaling to setting boundaries and cute little self-care hacks, you have tools to finally take back control of your brain. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future episodes. And hey, drop a comment below telling me which overthinking tip you're going to try first. I'd love to hear your stories. Remember, overthinking doesn't define you. You're allowed to take up space, make imperfect choices, and just breathe. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next episode. Stay kind to your mind and keep sparkling.